welcome to another episode of Nerds with Badges. Today is April the 9th, 2025. I had to look at the calendar. Got it. It wasn't the 8th. It's when you work nights, time just flies by. So it's been a really crazy few weeks for Nintendo. They are getting ready to come out with their new system, and because of the tariffs, they had to delay the pre-orders. So I put my what Nintendo has, like, you can put in a request on the. She would decide the vacuum right now. I gotta close this freaking door. Hold on. I don't know if that really makes it any better, but Nintendo has this. They have a system where you can basically put your name on a waiting list. It's sort of the same thing that Sony did with the PlayStation 5, where you put your name on the waiting list. And I don't know how Sony did it, how they really determine people. I don't know if it was alphabetical order but I know Nintendo is basically you have to have at least a year of Nintendo, and this fly is like determined to like kamikaze dive in my coffee. I don't know what is going on tonight, man. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, you have to have at least a year of Nintendo online and a certain, I think, at least 20 hours of gameplay time or something like that. So hopefully these fuckers don't go and create accounts and then just like, you know, there are ways to get around that. I don't even want to say anything because I want to give people ideas. But man, I remember when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S came out, for at least almost 3 years, but definitely at least 2 years, it was impossible to get one of these consoles. So I ended up buying me an Xbox Series S because at the time I didn't have a 4K TV. I have like a 1080. I think it was 1080 monitor. It's like it was a TV. I don't know how. I think it was probably maybe 20 inches. That might even be exaggerated. And I had my for the longest I had my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4 and my Switch hooked up to that TV with the headphone jack that just never worked for some reason. And I do video captures, so I bought like a splitter and a video capture card thingy. And so when the Series S came out, it didn't matter that it didn't really do native 4K. I mean, it can do 4K in certain instances, like it can stream in 4K, I believe, but it can't. I don't, and I think no, it doesn't have a disc player in it. Yeah, I think it streams in 4K. I don't know if it streams games in 4K, um, but you know, another cool thing about the Series S. All the Xbox machines allowed you to surf the internet. PlayStation didn't do that. On the PlayStation 5, not really. I think there's kind of a work around it, but it's like very limited. But so anyway, I don't know. I went off on a tangent, but so I had the Series S, and the Sturge thing was the only thing that really got on my nerves because you can't. You only have like I think it was 512 gig. Like, uh, what happened? What happened? I'll tell you later. Oh, okay. Something happened? No. I was gonna talk about why you gotta sit in here. Oh well, everybody got banned because somebody got caught sleeping supposedly or whatever. That's what I was told. Someone got caught sleeping, or they couldn't find somebody one night when they were walking around, and so as a result, they locked the door. They don't, but it's a table with chairs and freaking video monitor. Like I don't know. On the job drama. So yeah, I gotta remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so the Series S, the storage issue. So you had these. You couldn't just. You could use a hard drive, an external hard drive, but you couldn't put the series. You couldn't play the Series S or X games right from the hard drive. You had to buy like their proprietary Microsoft's proprietary memory cards, which were like 200 at the time. They were like $220 for like 1 terabyte, and these little things you plug in the back. And it really should have put more than one slot. To be honest, um, I don't know if they. I don't know if you have if the cards go up to 2 terabytes now. But I know I was really pissed. I had to pay like $220 to get more storage, and the games are so big now. The Call of Duty itself is like 300 gigs. So I actually have uninstalled that from my Xbox Series S because I haven't played in a while. I want to go back and finish the campaign. It's been a while since I finished campaign on any of those Call of Duty games. It's just easier to jump into the multiplayer stuff. Um, so my PlayStation 4 died. It had an issue where when I took it to the place to get it repaired, they were like, "Oh, we can't fix it. It needs to. You have to take it over here because it requires soldering." So my PlayStation 4 has not gotten fixed to this day, and it was like 200 and something, I think. And I also need to repair my iPod. My Jesus, so I used to go and I think my PlayStation 4 had issues before, and I got it. There's a place down the street from my house, from my apartment building, that repairs PlayStations. So I would go there periodically. I think I may have bought some games from there too. It's like one of those little mom and pop kind of deals. So I remember asking them about Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5s. And, being that it was really difficult to get a PlayStation 5 at the time. I mean, like I said, like at least 2.5, maybe even 3 years, it was really hard to get a PlayStation 5 because of these motherfuckers scalpers that would have all these bot accounts and buy up all the, they had videos on YouTube where they had stacks of PlayStation 5s in their freaking basements and nobody else could get one. And they would sell them for like 5 times and more than people would be so desperate they would pay whatever to get one. So it's really annoying. I mean, this used to always happen with new consoles. So Nintendo's trying to like get around that with their system. But anyway, I remember I went in and I asked them if they had a PlayStation 5, and they actually had one. It was a used one. And the lady, she sold it to me for, I think it was 600 and something. I think it was 600 or something. Might have been 700. Can't remember. But I actually had a friend that I had asked to get a console for me because I knew he, was connected. But he thought I wanted an Xbox. And so, out of guilt, this friend and another friend that was also helping me, they chipped in. I think they chipped in like $300 between the two of them, so I get what I wanted. So I ended up just putting in $400 out of my pocket. So it really didn't hurt that much to get that used PlayStation 5, which I still have. It still works fine. Although I do wonder about the whole. I mean, the frame rate thing is not really a big issue with me, but sometimes I'm just like, you know, these systems just seem like they were underpowered for what we're getting. But anyway, so that's my PlayStation 5 story and having to deal with, um, you know, I couldn't. I think they did actually email me back when I put my name on the list saying that they had one, but I think they only had the digital ones. And I wanted the ones that could actually play the discs because I'm really, really a proponent for physical media since it's really the only true way you actually own your media, and Nintendo's is kind of the only company that really is sticking to that. So I got to give them credit for that. Although you still in a lot of cases are only getting like a license or a key to unlock the game. You still got to download it even if you got the physical disc. But at least if I want to give my games to someone else, at some point, if I want to give them to like a younger relative or something, I can just do that. It's a digital. You can't really do that. So like I said, Nintendo, they were supposed to go live today. It was today or yesterday because I know it was saying the 8th, but some places I'm seeing the 9th. The pre-orders were supposed to go live, but then tariffs were announced. So then they delayed the. So we don't know when the pre-orders are going to go live. But I did put my name on the list, so I guess they'll notify me. So God, I hope I have the money at that time, because if I don't, I'm just gonna probably end up waiting. Um, I do want to continue to support console gaming, and I have a feeling that Nintendo might actually end up being my last console, because I'm really getting more into PC gaming. It's just so much more accessible. And my backlog with all the console games I have is just like gonna keep growing and growing and growing. So at some point, something's got to give. I'm never gonna catch up if I keep buying all the consoles and all the new games. So if I just have one console, I could just focus on that platform, and then I can just play everything else on PC or use emulations. And I got a gang of emulation machines. Um, so Donald Trump apparently is pausing the tariffs. I saw that in the news today. So I think the tariff is paused. It's going to be until July sometime. So I believe it's 90 days, 60, 90 days pause. But I guess China is the only country that is not being paused, which is interesting because I always thought that Trump and China had such a good relationship with each other. I don't know, but yeah, the system looks pretty cool though. I mean, I gotta say, the Mario Kart game looks really good. So that's that got me sold. And then there's another game I saw called Dust Bloods, and it's sort of a vampire kind of game. Reminds me a lot of, like, I mean, it kind of looks like Final Fantasy or Stellar Blade, or Astral Chain kind of game. Third person running around fighting and stuff. I saw somebody grab someone and bite them, so I guess it's a vampire game. And the Donkey Kong game looks really good too. The Donkey Kong game. I haven't really seen anything else um, that I can think of, but it's interesting that Cyberpunk is coming to the Switch too, and I guess it's going to have all the extra stuff that we got nickel and dime for on the other platforms. Uh, the price of the system, I think they should have kept it at 400, because traditionally Nintendo's been the family friendly, budget conscious system. I mean, 450 for a system, 70 $80 for games. Yeah, man. I mean, video gaming is starting to get a bit costly. That's why, one of the reasons why, I think sticking to one platform is probably a good thing if you want to not be broke. And Microsoft is probably the only company right now, other than the PC, of course. Microsoft is, really doing a lot of cool things for gaming right now, and I think that they're really future proofing their platform. And the fact that allegedly the next Xbox will have Steam is interesting, because that means, I mean, it already has. The Xbox has always had. Well, the first Xbox didn't have an internet browser on it. I don't believe, because I never used it. If it did have it, I think I've used Xbox Live on my old Xbox for like DLC, and I used to watch movies on it. You had to get the little thing though. You had to buy it's a little thing that you stick on your Xbox, and then you had to buy the remote, and you could watch, I guess, like Netflix and stuff. More, I believe it was. I believe that's what that attachment was for. That was so many years ago. But the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, and the Xbox Series all allow you to surf the web. And if that is the case, I would think there's definitely you can play a lot of games other than the Xbox games already if you're using the emulating abilities of the system. I've heard that the Series S in particular is an emulation beast. But Steam is already running on Windows on your laptops or your desktops. So Microsoft could throw us a bone every now and then with some exclusives, but if they make their games available on all the platforms, they could stand to make more money. I suppose. I mean, I guess I can understand why some people probably feel some kind of way about that because exclusives are good, to a degree. But when you're talking about 200, $300 million for a game that might not necessarily make a profit, I can understand why the companies are kind of moving away from that. Because the Final Fantasies, they done jumped over to like Xbox, and they're coming on PC as well. Because before PlayStation had those games locked, and Square Enix, they're making these games with these big ass budgets, hiring these voice actors, and putting in years and years of work, and the game comes out and it's not making a profit. Then you gotta, you definitely have to put your game, make it more accessible. But I always wondered why Microsoft never did like, Sony had the Spider-Man games, you know. Um, Seems like Microsoft, the whole green thing, they could have done like a really kick-ass Hulk game or Green Lantern. Um, I don't know, some things that Microsoft is doing is really cool, but then there's some decisions that I'm like, why didn't you do this or that? I mean, when they had the Avengers game that came out, they could have had the Hulk as an exclusive character, or because Sony got Spider-Man in the game. And back in the day, like when a game like Soul Calibur came out, you would have Spawn, was like in the, I think, the Xbox version, and then you had Link from the Zelda games was in the GameCube version. And for the love of God, DC, why have you not put out? You sitting on these like characters, man, and you just like, it's always been about Batman, and then it was Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad. There are a lot of like really cool games. Marvel Rivals came out. Marvel is just killing it with the games, man, and with these games. And DC is just like, Marvel Rivals is just so much fun, and um, the Marvel versus Capcom games. We haven't got one of those in a long time. But why have we not gotten another Injustice game, or even just a Justice League fighting game, or a DC game? And I heard something recently that the higher ups at DC might be interested in doing a DC style Marvel Rivals game. If they did a crossover, it would break the internet. But I don't know, licenses and all that might be an issue. But every now and then we'll get weird crossovers in comic book form. Anyway, I mean, we had Justice League X Ruby, Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But that the Justice League X Ruby was an anime, it wasn't a comic book. But then you had Godzilla and King Kong fighting Justice League last year, and this year they're doing something with Godzilla and the Avengers. There's a lot of really cool things that these companies could do, man. It would be money in the bank for them. So I don't know. Maybe people just don't like money. But anyway, I got about 15 more minutes before my shift starts. So I gotta change it to my uniform, get myself into battle mode, say my my Hail Marys, and sprinkle some holy water on me, and go get my magic wand. Uh, this is my Friday, so I'm actually looking forward to getting off in the morning at 6 o'clock and being able to go home and just relax in the next couple of days and work on my projects. I've been doing some remodeling in my place. Finally, decluttering. The declutterization process is happening. I hired someone to come and take out some furniture last week, so it's a process. But I'm trying to get my place in order. I know it's going to take me probably at least another couple of months. I got to get some more things taken out. I got to put some stuff in storage. But it's nice to actually be able to stand up in my place and turn around without like knocking over something. I hit my elbow on something. Um, you know, um, Sometimes, man, when you're busy all the time, or you're stressed out, or even depression, sometimes you can just like kind of look. You look around, you're like, oh my god, I got all this stuff. Like, what the hell? But just getting rid of some of the things, I've actually started feeling better. So it's gonna be probably a 3 month process. But for now, uh, I'm done. I will be back maybe later this week with another episode.